Hello, hello, hello. I have a very special guest with me today. I cannot believe that she answered my emails and decided to come on the show.
Thank you.
I'm so honored.
Thank you.
This is my new bud, Linda G. Comanche
I
Psychic.
put down Gina on my thing and the time, but I didn't put whose show I was going to be on, what the name of the show was. And I'm like, I know there's a Gina here. And then thank God you wrote me.
Well, I can't.
I'm like, who the hell is this? Which probably made you feel
Dude, I can't even keep track of the days of the week anymore. I feel like time has sped up.
So flying by.
Yeah. And, the energies are so intense right now that it's a whirlwind. I feel like we're all being put in spin cycle right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
where's your location, by the way?
do you know where the Upper Peninsula of Michigan is?
No, but I know Michigan. So
yeah, it's up by Lake Superior. Okay. So I'm in the woods.
Oh, I think I was up in the upper. Does 80 go through there? Because my first husband and I stopped off at looking at those lakes.
Yeah,
well, yeah, at the lakes. But I remember we were, and then we were heading to Wisconsin, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
To see a good buddy of his in the Navy.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place. We moved here from Detroit because Detroit was just very depressing, and we came up here on vacation one time, and I was like, we have to be by the woods. Like we can't live in that city anymore. So we found this house, and it all just kind of fell into place.
It was meant to be.
Right. Exactly.
So but were you raised in Detroit?
Oh no, I'm from Minneapolis, and in my 20s I moved to Seattle for about 15 years, and then we got priced out. We got our rent raised $400 in 1 month, and we were like, F this, I'm done. So we moved here. So
I just got a notice from I own this house, but I just got a notice that I'm short $600 and something for my property tax, and they take it out.
Yeah,
like every year it's something.
Yeah, I know. Owning a house is a big responsibility.
It's a pain in the rear. I'll be honest with you.
Really
I enjoy it because I can do things that like where else can you have two big ass dogs?
I know, exactly.
Unless you own the house. I always wonder if there's a lot of people that will rent and have animals, and I worry about the animals because if something happens, and a lot of people don't accept animals. But But I enjoy not having a landlord telling me what to do.
Oh, absolutely. And you can paint the colors whatever you want.
Yeah,
you can do whatever.
But there's always something, girlfriend. There's always something.
Oh, I know. Our house it was built in 1885, so it definitely is always.
Oh, does it have history or what?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I had to do a lot of clearing when I moved in here. It had a lot of residual stuff.
Did you see any ghostesses?
Are you kidding? Oh my gosh. I see. Okay, so I'm not so much of a ghost person, but it might sound weird talking about it, but I have made friends with a family of Sasquatch.
So do you need gifts and stuff like they talk about?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh and I've gotten, you wouldn't believe the stuff. They come into my house. I've gotten audio recordings because they can, they're multidimensional. They can go wherever they want.
Do you have that on your show? Do you play the recordings? Mm-hmm. Oh, girl, yeah. I love that kind of stuff.
I'll send you a couple. I'll send you some recordings.
Do you come from other dimensions?
Yes. I know they do. Yeah. Okay. I know they live here, but they can travel through portals. So
you're cool with them. So they probably keep a close eye on you. You know what I worry about is when there's great forest fires.
Yeah, me too. I saw a documentary called Flash of Beauty, and it's all about paranormal Bigfoot. I'll send it to you.
Yes, thank you.
It's a wonderful documentary, but there was some guy who lives next to the gorge in Oregon, and he said that when Mount St. Helen erupted, that there was a ton of like government presence afterwards, and that a lot of the firefighters and the the people that take care of the forests, they had stories about the government people collecting like Sasquatch bodies because
Oh no,
they
they
passed
died.
away.
Oh,
Yeah. So, I mean, I know that they are, some of them are flesh and blood, like us, but they're very telepathic. They have just incredible abilities. So, yeah, like I see orbs in my room all the time. I can go outside and see light ships. Yeah,
what's their favorite gift that you leave for them?
they love apples.
That's what I heard.
And
I heard they love
yeah,
apples.
yep, they love apples. They love like little toys, like little glow sticks. They love the little glow sticks. The kids do.
That is
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a whole family. It's a two males, a female, and a baby. So I've seen gigantic footprints in the snow out in the woods, and I've seen I started at first seeing little baby footprints in the wintertime in the woods with my wife. We're walking our dogs, and all of a sudden I start seeing these like little toddler footprints, bare footprints in the snow, and I'm like, what the heck is this? And I couldn't even like it didn't process.
Well,
So I
then
kind of
next
just
time you're out there, tell them Linda G says hi.
Oh, I will. Definitely. They love you. I know they do. You
Oh,
have
yeah.
the good mom vibes.
Well, barefoot in the snow, my feet would look like a Bigfoot because I got those white ass Flintstone feet.
Me too. Me too. I totally have wide feet. So anyway, so I wanted to talk to you today about ways that, like practical ways that we can kind of get out of our mindsets of division and being afraid and just having this anger towards the other side, because we just have to get out of that. We can't do this anymore. We're not going to make the shift if we don't.
Like one time when I was talking trash about Trump, my guys right in the middle of it said, now.
Mm-hmm.
What happens, and we can't help it. We hate him so much.
Yeah.
But if we linger in that anger, it puts a resistance on us, not on them. It's just like forgiveness. Like, I had a hard time forgiving my father. And they said, by forgiving, you give him no more power over you.
That's what it is, because you can't fight fire with fire. It just makes more fire. It just makes more negativity,
Right.
And so I feel like, I've had a lot of people do some messed up stuff to me in my life. And the more that I'm able to forgive and the more that I'm able to let go and to stay in a neutral space, the more just that anger and that fear and that like wanting to control the situation kind of just melts away. And you're just like, well, government's going to do what government's going to do. You have no control over that. You know? So I'm wondering, so you talked about that dream about unconditional love, the women.
Yeah, so those two women in the house.
Yeah.
One was and tall, Black African woman who was a storyteller, which I was told years ago by a past life person that I had been a storyteller, which was weird. And then another was a Native woman, but they were busy. They weren't paying that much attention to me. It's almost like, here, look here. This is what you need to do. And it was just maintain that vibrational energy of the omnipresent, that the God force, and know that this too shall pass. The fear factor is man-made. Mm-hmm. And we can't help it when we were babies, It's also a part of the human condition for fight or flight.
Yeah.
That something, even babies will do this if they're picked up the wrong way,
Yeah.
But if, like, I was raised in a family of fear, I don't know how your family was.
Oh, absolutely. Completely. Totally.
If you don't do this, people will say this about you. wear clean underwear, or you get hit by a car and you won't have on clean underwear.
That's why you talk about your J.C. Penney's all the time.
Yeah. But my mom was especially fear-based because she was a Native American woman being raised in a Catholic, white nun-run Native hospital or Native orphanage, which they weren't very. You couldn't speak your language. You had to be as they are.
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
Yeah. So, but there was an anger in her too. My mom was till the end of her days very angry. Very.
Mine as well. She
Really?
she was raised in the Catholic tradition, had to go to Catholic school, and she actually got pregnant when she was 13, and this was in the 60s, and they had to send her, to one of those places to have the kid, and the kid got adopted. But this same thing, she had such a resentment towards religion, but it was almost like this compulsion. She had to be in a religion, but she hated religion, so it was like back and forth.
When I was growing up, they both came off, especially my dad, as atheists. They didn't.
Yeah, I think my dad was too.
Pound it in our heads, you can't believe in God, because for some reason I was always connected to it, even at 8, seeing Jesus. But the church itself, I was fascinated by. But there's a lot of people who told me about going to the Vatican, and this one guy who hosts a show, he said, I went in there and I realized there's no Jesus here.
No.
Circumstance. That's how this Pope is I think much nicer. But, it's just, I saw the civil rights when I was watching a thing last night on Martin Luther King in Chicago. There was a bunch of people with Nazi signs marching down the street, white power. And this is in 60 something. And standing right with them was a bunch of nuns in full walking with them. Now, not all of them did that. Some of them also marched on the other side, priests and stuff. But, I think if you're going to get political and you're a part of a church, then you need to pay taxes.
Oh, yeah. They've been
when you'll
way too long.
Yeah. That will happen. Way. That will happen. So. It may be about 6 years away, but it'll happen.
I hope so. But yeah, there was a point, and it was okay. I'll tell you what it was. It was right after the election, and I did the same thing I did with Hillary. I put all my eggs in that basket, and I was like, Kamala's going to win. She's totally going to win. Everyone's going to see. It's so obvious. She has to win. She's going to win.
In the stadiums, and he was not.
Yeah. And so this happened, and when it happened with Hillary, it took me months to get over that. It was just, fear and just, what's going to happen to me? How could this happen? But with Kamala, it took me a good hour, and I did cry a little bit. I was very upset. But then I thought about it, and I was like, wait a second. I'm giving all of my power away to this person, the people in power that we give our power to. And I decided right there, I was like, I'm done. I'm not going to be afraid.
Let me tell you, and a lot of people, I'd lost 1,000 subscribers that next day.
Yeah.
And people were furious, and I don't blame them. I was furious too, because I was telling my guys, how could you? Jesus, you told me about the COVID a year before it happened. You told us about Biden winning with the dark-haired woman. Remember, I got that vision. I couldn't tell who it was. And then, because he wasn't showing, he was doing awful in the debates. But then it was just all of a sudden I saw that light. And we all assured everyone he would win. So, of course, people trusted us that, And then when this happened, and I said, how could you? They said, Linda, man has free will. And also, I really believe there was cheating too, by the way. You got that man who paid for that seat right next to him.
And, the guy who was doing the Sig Heil and stuff last night at the inauguration.
But also, he needs to be seen by his own people.
Mhm.
So by that I mean he's going to hit the United States hard enough, and it's unfortunate we have to go through this, to where, like, he just removed the $35 for insulin. He just removed that. Why?
They just, I honestly, I can't even fathom it. I don't know. Why do they want to take away, what is it, like school lunches for
Oh
poor
yeah,
kids?
yeah. Well, you
Yeah.
have to prove that you're poor to get a free school lunch. But no, he's going to hit Medicare. He's going to try to totally get rid of Obamacare. He's going to go in there and do some things that's really going to offset his own people.
Mm.
And they're going to be like, wait a second, you promise. Oh, you think the price
Right.
of eggs is going down? Hell no. Hell no. He's going to cause, with those tariffs, which he plans on doing in February, everything is going to be so much more expensive. It's almost ridiculous. And they're going to look at him like,
yeah. I mean, that's what they care about. They don't care about, mass deportations or trans people, or, other minority groups getting their rights taken away. It's all about the price of gas and groceries and their own personal little world. So it's gonna impact them in ways that's really gonna shake them up. And I feel like that's the only thing that's gonna work.
He did put some executive order about something with the cost of living needs to be addressed, but that still doesn't make it. And the other news that my guides had told everybody, that they had said, watch this. Putin is unhappy with him. Putin is not going to play nice to Trump. Mark my words. And sure enough, Putin announced today, no, I'm not going to negotiate with Ukraine. Remember Trump? Oh, I'll get this done in 24. No. So once Putin is not in Trump's camp, it's going to get pretty hard for Trump. And
I would say so.
Putin is on Iran's side, and Iran hates Trump. And
it's a big mess.
Yeah.
It's such a mess right now.
There's a lot of stuff getting ready to happen.
Do you have, okay, here's a good question. Here's a great question. Do you have a regular meditation practice, or do you have a ritual that you do every day in order to clear your energy, clear your thoughts, come into coherence? Do you have anything like that?
It's going to sound silly. I've been doing it since I was a little girl, but usually it's in the evening time. Because in the morning, I'm already worried about who am I supposed to read and whose show am I supposed to be on.
Right, right.
Oh my God, I'm running around in this house crazy. But at nighttime, ever since I was young, I've had such a love of the higher realm. And I always lift myself overseeing the earth. And I let that light go through my eyes and my mouth and my hands. And I encompass the earth with this healing energy. Wow. And I'm always putting out, let mankind be saved, so to speak. And it creates a wellness in me. It's really weird. And also, vibrationally, I notice I'm much better. If I miss it, I notice it. So you almost have to do it every day.
Yeah.
But do something similar. Or listening to music. It's just vibrationally going as high as I can.
Okay. Yeah. There's something that I do too every morning. Well, either in the morning or in the evening, whenever I can, where I close my eyes and I envision a light coming out of my heart chakra. And I just say, I connect to the all that is. And I just feel it. And it just emanates through my heart. And like you said, through the eyes, through the whole body. And then you just ask the all that is, please clear and cleanse my light body. Please give me the strength to A, B, or C, whatever you need. And you just feel it. And you just, God, it's so amazing. It just, you feel so calm and peaceful afterwards. And I feel like that's really saved me.
Vibrationally is a connection. like
Mm.
Eckhart Tolle, he does the Tao. And part of what they do is that breathing 3 breaths a day. I do
Yeah.
that too. And what happens is that vibrationally makes you go higher. If you practice that all the time, all of a sudden you'll be zooming. I had the zooming time too. That was pretty significant. But what it does is detaches you from man's thoughts and puts you in the vibrational realm. And then you're more wide open for them to communicate with you.
Yep. Yep. And you have more of an understanding of the oneness that we all are. It kind of clicks once you're in that sort of vibration. You're like, oh, okay, I get it. And then you don't go into panic mode quite as much. You don't go into the fight or flight sort of, oh, so and so is doing this in my existence, and you don't get so scared. It's like you know that you have a
Don't be afraid
connection.
of monetary things. I know that's crazy because you got to eat and you got to have a roof. But I'm telling you, people are so frightened of losing
Yeah.
what they have, and it's not until you don't care about those things that they're there. It's really strange how that works.
That's how it works. That's how the universe works. It's like I said earlier, like you don't fight fire with fire. If you feel like you need to hoard everything because there's not enough, that's what you're going to get. That's what the universe thinks you want. And they're like, oh, okay, well, you want more of not enough. Here you go. And
Yeah.
so it's just like a cycle. So if you and I know for myself, the money part of it, the financial, like the root chakra stability part of it is it's an ongoing process. Like it's a challenge because it's everything. It's your house, it's your money, your food, your relationships, it's all of it. So that's a big one for me. But once I get up there and I just let God just emanate through my body,
That
I
fear
just
base
get
goes
this.
away. That
Yeah,
fear
it
base
gets less and less.
will keep you from getting what it is you want. And unfortunately, a lot of that comes from childhood. We are a fear-based nation. We love to make everybody afraid. And you think it's bad before. Now what? They'll be watching everything he does. They were even showing him signing those things and how none of the reporters did like they used to do with Biden, yelling at him. No, but they were quiet as a mouse. Quiet as a mouse because he is king. Do you see what I'm saying? So standing around, and they hope we get more people watching our shows because we're going to fear-base you right out the door.
Exactly. I know. I used to watch MSNBC every single night. I loved Rachel Maddow. I loved all of them, but I realized how scared and how pissed off I was all the time. And so I stopped watching it, and it was like, oh,
because we keep jumping the gun at everything he does. We want to hear it.
Yeah.
But that's why I recommend to everybody, even if it's stop watching the psychic readers, just take a breath and take your time and allow.
Exactly. Yeah. Get out, go find something that you really love to do, whether it's like singing to music or walking your dogs or painting, baking cookies, whatever. I feel like if you can just make it really small, make it a small thing that you could do every day, just something that really lights you up. I feel like that really helps too.
Yeah.
If it's like, connecting with crystals or playing with your pets or, whatever. Eating ice cream.
I'm not a crystal-based person. I don't know about crystals. Carol Mayer at Angel Heart, when she still owned it, she knew everything about crystals. People would ask me, should I sleep with this? I don't know a thing. I'm sorry. I just don't.
You have a pretty cool pendulum. Didn't you say you got it at like?
Yeah, I got it. And by the way, it's broken. So I'm taking it back to Shasta with me to get it replaced or fix it. That was a lot of money for that thing. It's offset, so I have to have it fixed.
Oh, okay. I started using a pendulum after I saw you using it, and I love it. It's such a good way of connecting to your guides, especially if you don't.
You really got to be careful of your own thoughts getting in the way.
Oh yeah. I learned that for sure. Yeah. Because it's like you really have to like clear yourself. Otherwise your own desires will kind of get in there. So it's been really fun though. I haven't really started with the tarot stuff, but we could talk about that for a minute. How did you get into tarot?
Oh, I don't know tarot really. If you're a professional tarot reader, you'll say, "What is she saying?" I go by what I look at and what they say to me. There is a book that I had, the one book, Eileen McConnelly or something like that, O'Connelly, that I would read her interpretations. But I have to go by what I feel. Sometimes
Well,
I'm just shuffling the cards and get the answer without even throwing them.
well, that's tarot. I mean,
So
you're just being intuitive
I
about it.
laid them out, and since 1980, somebody, it was a hairdresser in Laguna Beach, told me, "You could read these better than me." I said, "What?" So he gave me his cards. He said, "Just practice." So I practiced, and I had friends over, and I would do a reading, and things would come true. And then I remember I had a girlfriend who was a hairdresser. I would go to her salon, and it'd be in the back. Are you kidding? People love a reading. So I would go back there, and I wouldn't charge it, just if you want to give a donation, Hold on one second, my people. Bye. Thank you. Thank you. They were here helping me with the house. So I was just really, really surprised that things turned out. I had some profound things happen. And then I noticed I was reading for a neighbor down the street, and her mother had died. She was found drowned in the tub. And she gave me her jewelry, and I held on to the jewelry, and I said, "Oh my God," I saw a hand on her face pushing her back into the wall behind the tub. I said, "Oh my God, she was murdered."
Wow.
She didn't drown. They said she had a seizure and drowned in the tub. No, she didn't. She was murdered. And she said, "Well, my stepdad killed his first wife."
Whoa.
So, yeah, he's the one that did it. And he got away with it too, by the way.
Well, I mean, you never really get away with it, right? I mean,
No.
you'll deal
He'll
with
burn
it when
down
you
now.
pass.
I think he's already dead.
Do you have any good stories about your mediumship?
Oh, hundreds. Did you read my book yet?
No, I haven't read it. I'm sorry. I should though.
Because there's your stories, and there's a lot of really cool things in there. But they are so happy over there. The very first incident, and it's in my book, of some magnificent mediumship. I was reading this woman, and she was sitting across. This was at Angel Heart. She was sitting across from me. And I picked up this tall, very good looking young man with a beard and crystal blue eyes. And he walked right through the wall. And I said, "There's a tall young man here with a beard and crystal blue eyes." And she starts sobbing. She said, "That's my son." And so I'm trying to cut her out so I could listen to him. And he proceeds to tell me how he died, that he was heading towards a big truck, 18-wheeler, and put his bike down, his motorcycle, and basically killed instantly, but they started CPR and brought him back. But he's telling me this. And then he was telling me about, they got him to the hospital, and he could hear all the screaming, which was his mother and his girlfriend. He lived with his girlfriend, and they had 2 kids. Now, I didn't know that. He told me, and I'm telling her, which was totally correct. And he's even saying to me, he wished he had married this woman because she really loved him. But some guys don't want to get married. So anyway.
Right.
But she's still wailing and sobbing. And he looked at me, I'll never forget it as long as I live, those crystal blue eyes. And he said, "Linda, can you tell my mom I'm more alive now than when I had a body? And she needs to get over herself on this."
Yeah.
So it's, when we weep and we mourn for the ones we love, and you got to go through a mourning phase. You have to. And it's okay to hurt, and it's okay to wish they were still here. But understand that they are in a place that's so magnificent, you would never wish him to be back here unless it was for your own self, you know.
Yeah. I feel like that's part of what it is. The really intense grief. It's just this please don't leave me. And that really, I feel like that really holds the soul to the earth plane when you
Especially
do that.
children's souls. Because I asked one time, why are little kids stuck on Earth? What is that? Why would you do that? I'm telling them around. And they said because the parents grieved so hard it made them stuck. They got stuck here. They'll eventually go to the other side. I mean, their parents are already dead and gone, and they're still stuck here.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I
but there's some
oh
people that are so overwhelmed with the unconditional love, they really have a hard time over there.
oh really?
Yeah. And even people like mothers who you think were terrific mothers, but they were constantly making their children do as they thought they should do. They didn't give them that freedom. You got to give people freedom. I'm telling you right now. And maybe even reprimanded them if they didn't do as you saw. I've read a lot of adult women that had those kind of parents that they still had that fear. I had read a woman whose mother had lots of money and she was the one overseeing everybody. And she even did a will that the daughter could not give her sister any of her money, because the daughter had a drug problem at one time. Well, guess what that did? It started a horrible relationship between the two of them. She lost her sister as well as her mother. And by the way, the sister died young. So it's like, but when I read her the first time, because she was so nervous about what do I do based on my mom, that woman, her mother, was bouncing in my room, bouncing.
Really?
And energetically, she was really having a hard time not being in control anymore.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's control. Control.
Finally, she let up about several months later, and I could tell the girl was a lot quieter, but she was bouncing off the wall. She wanted her to be known what she wanted, almost thinking like she was still alive.
Huh. So even on the other side, people, souls, spirits still retain some of that like urge to control.
Right.
Huh?
Another time I was reading a woman, this is all in my book, and her husband had died. And I'm reading her husband who's talking to her. And my phone was on the other side of the room, my cell phone. All of a sudden, you could hear my cell phone talking, like someone was standing or talking through the speaker. And I said to her, "Did you hear that?" She said, "Yeah." So I got up and I went over to the phone. And on the screen was, "In my room, anything is possible." And I never said that. I never said that. But you better believe I took a screenshot and it's in my book. And or maybe it was in our realm, but it was in the realm, anything is possible.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
So I had a mentor who I was working with a lot last year, and she's a medium. She doesn't do mediumship quite as much anymore. She's on to other stuff, but like
It can train you.
oh yeah. But she started using, what is it, Chat GP or whatever it's called?
Yeah, yeah.
The AI chat to just to play around with. But she would talk to her guides and be like, "Hey, would you write me a poem?" And something would come in that was so profound that they could, it was obviously written by them. They
Oh,
knew
wow.
very intimate
Wow,
things.
that's great.
Yeah, so I feel like, another thing that people are so scared of is AI, and I feel like it's kind of a neutral energy. It depends on who's
Using
using
it because anybody can use anything for. We developed the atomic bomb because we needed to end this war.
it. Hmm.
We did do something horrible, but we needed to end this war. And it saved a lot of lives too, because if we kept fighting with Japan, it would have been horrible. But anyway,
Yeah.
so but look at the heartache it's caused.
It's caused a lot of damage for entire generations of cultures,
That's why the ETs are hanging out. They
I
can't
wanted
let
to
us,
talk to you about that.
yeah, they can't let us do a bomb. They'll interfere with that. The other thing is they've told us that we're polluting our world really bad. So
Yeah.
what did you want to tell me about it?
Oh, I just so I have more of an ET connection myself than with like spirits, I guess. I don't know, it's weird. But yeah, like I can go outside in my backyard and just be like, "Hey guys, is anybody out there?" And I'll see a boop, they'll start flashing at me, and
I
I've
love it.
seen like triangles in my backyard, big floating triangles and all different sorts of ships. So I was just wondering, how did you feel about when that one ET guy started coming in and talking
Yeah,
to
I can
you?
see
Did
his
it
face.
really freak you out?
Yeah, also, I question it. It was
Mm.
so profound, and he definitely wasn't a humanoid.
Mhm.
He was definitely from someplace else. But he was so loving when he talked to me.
Yeah.
And they're not tripping, really. I mean, but they are around big time, my friend.
Oh gosh. Yeah, definitely.
I got
Um,
to
I
tell you
s
one other thing too with the mediumship. I read this woman, Jackie, whose daughter was killed in a tragic accident up in Yosemite on a skateboard. The way she fell, it crunched her
Aw.
heart, stopped her heart. If
Aw.
that hadn't happened, she'd have lived because even her head wound wouldn't have killed her.
Mhm.
So her daughter had long blonde hair, and the first reading she came, I got her dad, and then I said, "Oh, wait a second, I see this long blonde hair." She said, "Oh, that's my daughter." She had gone to a lot of mediums, and no one got her daughter. She was
Mhm.
thrilled. So she brings back her husband and her son, and her husband's an ER doctor. And he was sitting in front of me with his arms crossed and his legs crossed, and the son was there, and Jackie was there. And so the daughter starts talking to me. She would flow. She was just flowing. She was such a high energy.
Mm.
And all of a sudden, I remember telling her, "Oh, I don't know. I don't think your dad really is into this or believes this." Quietly, I told her. And boom, there is a curtain that was probably 6 feet up because it's a huge window. It's an old building built in, I think, 1800. And that curtain and the bar went flying. It flew off, and it flew behind me. It didn't hit anybody. But Jackie immediately said, "Now do you believe her?" So
I have
she
had some stuff like that happen in this
they,
house a
they
couple of
will make
times.
some sort of manifest stuff happen too.
Right. When I've talked to Kim from Intuitive View, and it only happens with her, this lamp will start flashing and going on and off.
Oh, she has a lot of orbs and stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she is fascinating to talk to. But it's funny because it only happens with her, no one else. So,
Yeah, oh,
um
that's how much power she has. There's probably a connection between you two.
yeah, I would say so, probably. But oh, I was going to tell you, so with the Sasquatch people, when how that whole thing started was I was sleeping in my room one night, and all of a sudden I heard boom, boom, boom on my roof. And we've had, some pretty violent storms where we had like part of a tree come down and smash the roof. That's how loud it was. It woke up the entire family. The dogs were terrified. Like all throughout the next day, they were so scared.
Was there any damage
And
to the roof?
nothing. I went outside. I walked around. There was, it was calm. It was a very calm night. Nothing out of the ordinary. But I had the intuition to write to a friend of mine and tell her about it, because initially I was like, was that like ETs, or I don't know what the heck that was. But I texted her the night after, and I told her what happened, and she was like, "Oh, that's the Sasquatch people. They have a message for you." And I was like, "Oh, really?" And I was just thinking, "Oh, it's not really real, whatever." And they said they love you and they want you to love yourself more. And it
Wow.
just, oh, it really, like, my heart just went whirr, and I felt my whole chest start to vibrate, and I was like, oh. And ever since then, like that's when I started seeing the prints. I saw one physically one time. I was walking down this trail in the woods that I normally go to with my dogs, and something told me in my mind, turn around, wait for it. And I was like, what? And so I turned around, and it was this long road, and I waited, and this big humanoid shape came out and crossed the road. And it was in the middle of the day, and it was all black, and it was about 85 degrees outside. So it was pretty warm. So if anybody was wearing a head to toe gorilla suit, they'd be sweating their face off. But yeah, it was amazing. And they've come in with some really great messages, and they've healed my dogs. They've come in and given me, energy healing, and they're just wonderful. They're
Fantastic.
wonderful beings.
That's great.
Yeah. So I'm so thankful for that relationship. But yeah, I had a dream when I first moved here that I was in my attic, and I was looking out the window, and I saw this like whole big group of people, but they were all black silhouettes, and they were all just kind of waiting for me. And I came out of that dream, and I felt like, I think a lot of us, whether we know it or not, are helping people over to the other side when we're in dream time, like lost, like the kids, like, kid souls and stuff. I feel like we help with a lot of that stuff in dream time.
Wow. That's great.
So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should get mediumship training or something.
Don't forget to send me that.
Oh, I have footprints. I have all sorts of cool stuff. I'll send you. Yeah. Well, I know you're a busy woman, and we are at 41 minutes. What do you think?
Thank you. Yeah.
I thank you.
I haven't even taken my diabetes meds yet, which I'm going to need to take. I just read someone said, I don't drink and I don't smoke because I can get the same feeling when I stand up in the morning. I said, ain't that the truth?
Oh my gosh. Well, girl, you need to take your medicine. You should get out of here.
I'm starting to feel it right now. So I did.
Okay, here.
So yeah.
Let me end this recording real quick. Thank you, everybody. Say goodbye to Linda.
Thank you.
All right. Talk to you guys later. Bye.